Yeah, I'm a big drink girly.
Okay.
Water and coffee, which is rare. I don't do coffee all the time. I don't do coffee like every day. But this one's got a little vanilla colostrum in it,
Mm.
taking it up a notch.
All right.
And then got to stay hydrated.
Another water bottle.
Yeah, but this is a really nice one. Also, a rival creatine. Not sponsored, but real good. And you said you liked it too.
Yeah. I don't. It's like just creatine, right? I mean, what's.
It's blueberry.
I did switch from the. I used to take the creatine in pill form,
Mm-hmm.
and I switched to the powder
Powder guy.
because the pills were like not always like completely going down my esophagus.
Oh,
And I've had a couple times where I like took them because they're like, I don't know, they're not huge, but they're decent size. You take like four of them.
mm-hmm.
You're supposed to split them up throughout the day, but like that's hard to remember to do. So I just take them all at once, and they get like stuck in my esophagus, and then I would like burp, and then it would just be like a creatine puff
Oh,
would come out.
fun.
Yeah,
Love that for you.
it happened once at work. I was in a meeting, and thankfully I was the only person in the room because I was like, oh man, I have like indigestion, and then I just let out this like small burp, and then this like
Okay.
cloud of like fine dust. Luckily, yeah, no one else was there to see it because it's quite embarrassing.
Cool.
Okay. Apparently, you don't find that entertaining.
I've heard the story before.
Well,
You
not
know,
everyone else has.
I know, but when. Okay.
So,
I'm low energy today, so I need you to take it up a notch.
okay.
I need you to overcompensate
Okay.
for me.
We,
Unless I hit this coffee a little bit more, and then halfway I'm just like, send it. We'll
yeah, that,
see. We'll see.
that
It's
would be
a
great.
possibility.
Maybe, you know what? Let's start with the 3-minute fight because I have a topic that I want to talk
Oh.
about,
Oh.
which could
Okay.
be a nice little fight.
I'm glad I'm not prepared. I'm
Yeah.
not prepared.
All right.
Go.
The topic
Wait,
is
do we need the
do you want me
timer?
to put it on?
Yeah, you need a timer.
Do we do a minute and a half each, right?
Yeah.
That's enough.
God, I'm feeling so unprepared. When somebody has like this could be a whole separate one. When somebody has a topic for the 3-minute fight, but then the other person doesn't, it's like you almost have a leg up because
Yeah.
you're able to
But
like
you can think about
ruminate
it
on it.
while I talk, so that's
Okay,
fine.
hit it,
So and you get the closing argument,
hit
which is
it.
traditionally the stronger position,
I
right?
don't know.
um okay. I have an issue with how many water bottles you have. It is a never-ending like it's literally insane. At any given point there's like 8 to 10 of them and you cycle through them. So you'll get obsessed with one of them for like a few weeks, then the other ones just sit there, and then you for some reason like get a new one, or like you just decide you don't like that one anymore, or you wash it and then you like forget about it somewhere, and then you just bring in a new one to the house. And I'm not exaggerating. At one point, I think we had like 10 of these things, like either Stanleys or different types of water bottles. And now I have implemented a rule, which is one in, one out. So for every new water bottle that comes in, one has to go. And this one's new, which means one has to go. So that's my issue. That's my argument. You don't need all these water bottles. You just need like two. In case it's dirty, you use the other one. That's it. You don't need 10. That's my time.
My sweet, sweet summer child.
Why do you need
I
10?
don't give
Defend
a
it.
fuck how many water bottles you think that I need or don't need. It's not even a thought in my mind of, I wonder what the number is that Tim's comfortable with in having in the house. I couldn't care any less than I already do, which is not a lot. I don't even have a rebuttal. I'm just like, okay. I do have one thing to say though. I've only ever purchased one Stanley, and then I had one gifted to me. The one I purchased, I threw away. So I only have one Stanley now, which is the Sheets one. And yeah, I mean, so what if I hyperfixate on one? You know, I like what I like. And let's just put some things into perspective here because my God, I could be addicted to designer handbags. And then you're like, you know what? You have too many designer handbags. Okay, well, woe is me. These only cost, what, $20 or 20,000. You can go ahead and take your pick. That's all.
All right. I have to sing your praises. I have been trying to buy you a designer handbag for Christmas for like years, and you're just like, I don't really want or need one. So that's pretty amazing.
Mhm.
I legitimately want to buy you
I'm pretty amazing.
something, and you're just like, nope,
But
I'm good.
I did like I'm like being sucked into it.
Why?
Well, because I went to Coach one day by myself and I was like, I really like this bag. And then I just bought it and I was like, oh, this is really cute.
How much was it?
Oh, it was not, I don't remember. I want
Like
to say,
500?
no, yeah, maybe 800.
Wow, I'm surprised you bought that.
It wasn't anything like crazy in terms of like a designer
You
handbag.
very rarely buy things at that price point for yourself.
I know. I know. You guys, this is very true. I'm like, I want to buy, do experiences.
Mm.
So my thing is like, I don't care how much I need to spend if it's like a plane ticket or an experience or a really nice all inclusive or a hotel or something like that. I'm like, yeah, well, I don't I don't care.
Mm.
The limit does not exist. Like you'll come home from work one day and I'll be like, "Hey, I just dropped, $3,000 on plane tickets." Okay. But it's adding up now because, we're buying a seat for August. And I was talking to somebody about this the other day and they were like, but he's under 2, so he can fly for free. And I'm like, yes, but that doesn't always mean that you should just because you can. There are certain situations that, in my opinion, dictate him having his own seat. Like when we went to Italy, any type of international, as soon as they can walk, get him the seat because he can fall asleep in his car seat and not like struggling to get comfortable on you and whatever. I mean, but like every kid is different. And if you're just doing like a 2 hour nonstop, then who cares? But we have been consistently buying him his own seat. And that is like, well, all right, that's another $1,000. And excuse me, I would spend my money. I'd rather do that. Yeah.
I don't think the value is there though. I mean, you're right when he could sleep in his car seat, but increasingly he doesn't fit in that car seat anymore. And the car seat sometimes doesn't fit in the seat depending on the plane. So I think the next trip, because we're getting to the point where we have 6 months left before he does have to get a seat, right? Because over 2, they have to have a seat, right? So we have 6 months left. I think we should let's take advantage of it. No seat.
That stresses me out.
I mean, he's not using the seat though, and really, unless the car seat's in it, you're just paying. Really, what you're paying for is extra space.
Well, I got to tell you, when I flew solo with him last, like 2 weeks ago, well, people don't know this actually. I didn't think it was, I'm not going to ever post in real time if it's like a safety thing. But when we were in the Smoky Mountains, which is why we have not recorded a podcast in a really long
Yeah,
time.
we should bring everyone up to speed.
Okay. We went to the Smoky Mountains in Tennessee and we had a vacation there with some of our friends and it was a really good time. And then from Tennessee, Tim flew to California because he had a work trip. And then I flew back to Austin with August by myself. And that was the first time that Augie and I had ever done like a solo flight, just him and I. And I bought him his own seat because I was like, I'm not doing this shit. And like, if I need room and it's just us, then I need a room. Like, I don't care. And he sat in his own seat. I put the seatbelt on his lap. Oh, it was so cute. It was the cutest thing. He was looking out the window, having the time of his life. And then I think what made the flight so great is that I scheduled it during his nap time. He gets one nap in the middle of the day. And so I was like, yeah, hell yeah. Like he's getting real tired. He's about to just pass out for like the whole flight. It's going to be great. And then he fell asleep and I just ended up holding him and he fell asleep on my chest. And we didn't use the seat at all, but we did use it for takeoff and landing. And he woke up about a half an hour before we landed and he wanted snacks and he wanted to watch something. And like play with all the toys and shit. So that seat did come in handy and during the time that he was not sleeping on me. So take that for what it's worth.
Your first solo flight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fun. But like, I'm not going to post on social media like Augie and I are doing our first solo back to Austin. Cause then it's like, oh, Tim's not with you. Like what? I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
But I shared it with close friends.
And then what was the weekend after that? Because we've skipped 2 weeks, right?
We've been busy, guys.
What did we do? I don't even remember.
We flew my mom into town.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, your mom was here.
Yeah, and then we've just been, God, so many things. Life, where it just hasn't been a priority. That's all.
Yeah. Well, it's
not everything can be. Sorry, guys.
Not at the same time. Yeah, we try to do weekly, and then sometimes we're gonna miss weekly, and that's fine. I'm gonna throw something at you.
Oh God.
Because when you were talking about prioritizing experiences to spend money on, it came to my mind. That's a very millennial thing to do. Like the millennial generation, generally that's true. Most people agree with you. But I found this quote on Twitter this week, and I want to hear what you think about it.
Okay.
All right. The millennial generation experiences the present moment as an anticipated memory.
Okay.
What do you think?
Yeah, I could see that. Is
good,
that
bad, healthy?
Is that
agree, disagree?
Contentious? Are people fighting about that, or what?
No, I think it is. Maybe I'll tell you how I interpret it. I think it's commenting on like the fact that we are increasingly less present because we're constantly thinking about like, oh, I need to get this on social media, or I need to like take a photo because like I'm gonna want to see this again in the future.
Yeah.
So then I think the underlying question is it actually distracting us from being present in the moment because you're more thinking about the fact that you'll like you want to remember this
of course
experience. Is that actually healthy?
Well, who is good at balancing both of those things? Because to say that the millennial generation is struggling with being present is that's very true in my opinion. I think that that's very true because we grew up and not a lot of us had all of the photos and the pictures of us growing up and the memories. So then like now we're like, yeah, we want to capture it. We want to like look back on it and save it on the cloud and all these things. But then also we're not being present because we're doing that. And so if you can find like a really good balance, then I think that you are a unicorn. You are rare. I don't know a lot of people who do that well. I know one side of the spectrum and I know the other side of the spectrum, but I don't know a lot of people in my life personally that I can say, you do a really good job at being present and also capturing memories. Because I have friends that are just not on social media, right? And they just like, or they are, and it's just like whatever, they don't care. And then I have friends that are just chronically online. And the difference when I go out to dinner with these two people, you would be, phone eats first and everybody has their phone out and whatever. And that's
that
fine.
was what came to mind for me. That's the number one example. It's like the food comes and what's the first thing you do? You like don't even take a moment to look at it. You're just like, oh, I have to take a picture of it.
Yeah.
Like you haven't looked at it, smelled it, tasted it, or really appreciated it in any real way.
Yeah. It's sad. What I've done in the past is like if I'm like it gets so old to me and then like everybody just around you is just like okay, like it's getting cold, right? Like that pisses me off. Now if I'm getting paid, y'all can wait. We can reheat this shit. Like shut up. I'm going to take a picture of it. But if not, like I don't really do that a lot anymore. I really don't. And when I'm out to dinner with some of my friends, I'm like, okay, let's dig in. And then they're like, oh, do you mind? And I'm like, oh, go ahead. Cause like, no, I don't mind, but I don't know.
You do take photos of food though.
Yeah. I'm not saying that I don't. I'm saying that I certainly have lowered the amount over the past few years. Because like, I don't know. To a certain extent, it's like, do people really give a fuck what you're eating? Sometimes, but like if I'm in my house, right, and I'm doing like steaks, I do that. I do that all the time.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm like, listen, bitch, we got it good. We are eating steaks over, like we're doing the whole thing, right? And then And then I have the whole steak highlight on the Instagram, and then people ask questions. And to some extent, I'm like, yes, we're educating them. Like, I literally have on my steak highlight, this is how you do it. This is the steps that you need to follow, right?
Oh,
But
that should be it. We should talk about that later.
talk about it
That's a
now.
nonstop question we get. What's the advice that you give the steaks? Maybe I should become a steak influencer or a meat influencer. I feel like that's very overdone.
Mm-hmm.
It's well done.
That okay. This is a good one.
um,
Listen, it's
you,
just simple, right? And I think we're both on the same page. Ribeyes should be over a
hold on.
fire.
Before we go there, can we close
Okay.
off the last? I just,
Boom, 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 boom.
I do
Yeah.
think we have too much, and I'm guilty of it, but like, there's too much content that you spend time consuming that is all about like you're gonna miss this, and it's not that that's wrong. That's right, but two things can be true. You're gonna miss this, and but you still need to live it now. And the more that you think about the fact that you will miss the thing, and I'm speaking in the context of parenting
Yeah.
because it's a constant thing.
Yeah.
I struggle with this, and I think it's very unhealthy, which is the constant like thing in the back of my mind, which is like I can't stop this. I wish I could, but I know I'm gonna miss this in the future. But it actually prevents me from just being there and just experiencing the moment. And two things can be true, and I don't have a good way to resolve it. Um, but it's a problem. It's a thing. It's definitely a problem.
Mm-hmm. Do you think one of the solutions for that problem would be maybe something like your glasses? Or are
Like
you
to
still
take you
not
away from
fully
the phone.
present?
Well, the putting the phone away is a huge. We've talked about this before. I do that every Sunday, and that is a huge part of it. But it's not a silver bullet because it doesn't take your mind. It doesn't make your mind stop traveling. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just a constant practice. You're just gonna like I thought about it this morning. I'm like, you're getting so big. And then like that sucks because I'm thinking about that and that moment's already gone and it's fleeting. But then what do? I hold him tighter. I pick him up and I give him a really big hug. And I literally thought in my mind, like a couple hours ago, there's gonna be a day where I'm gonna pick you up for the last time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just like I soak it in. So you can have the thoughts, but then also like, what are you gonna do about it now?
And the thoughts don't change anything. They don't change the reality of like it doesn't slow time down. It's going to pass at the same rate.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's hard to grapple with is like it doesn't matter how aware you are that you'll miss it. It makes no difference. It's still going to go by.
Yep.
And I don't know, being present is not just our generation issue. I think just it's a human problem, and I don't have the answer, but I do think we're more aware of it now almost because we have so much content that reminds you constantly, and I don't know how healthy that is.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, just put your phone away at least for a few hours a week. I think is all I could say. That's my only advice.
Yeah, well, maybe some people don't want to. Maybe people are like, okay, well, I don't have kids and I just want to be chronically online and I want to be in the know and I want to know every single reference and meme and trending thing.
Yeah, I think there's a difference between using technology with an intent and just passively consuming. And I
Mm-hmm.
think more and more trying to use it with intent and just like if you pick up your phone, you have a purpose, not just like picking up your phone because you're bored. And last Sunday, I did this the whole day, almost the whole day. I didn't pick up my phone at all, had it in the drawer.
You do that every Sunday.
I know, but there was something about last Sunday that it was just like, I don't know, it felt so good. Like we went to church, got back, put my phone away, and then what did we do after
We
that?
went to the Bills game, went to
That's
Nickel
right.
City,
Yeah,
then we
we
made
went.
Sunday sauce.
Right, right. So we went and it was just like I was present the whole day with all the ups and downs. Like I just was there experiencing it. There was normal human emotions throughout. There's boredom, and there's nothing to fill it. There's like August is crying, or whatever. But then at night when it was his bedtime, I was like, man, I'm just like I'm just like kind of tired. Like, I'm just going to go to bed. It was 7 p.m. So I took him into bed and he laid on me and he fell asleep on my chest. And I just laid there and I was like, I just feel so at peace right now. I don't know what's going on in the world. I don't care right now. It's just like, I'm here. I'm going to just fall asleep at 7:30, 8, whatever it was,
Mm-hmm.
without looking at anything. And I don't know. It was just very refreshing and recharging.
Nice. Anything else on the docket that
Um,
we should touch on?
well, we brought up steaks. Do we want to talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, go for it.
Just me? Just the solo segment? I get a lot of questions. This is a nonstop question for some reason. I don't know. You say it is. People will message you about it, like how do you cook them or whatever. Because I guess our photos are awesome because we do cook really good steaks. So here's the deal. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this. You got to figure out what cut you want. Okay, different cuts are made to be cooked different ways. So if you have a filet mignon or a New York strip, put it in a cast iron pan. Get the pan as hot as you can.
Ripping hot.
Let me back up actually.
Okay.
Regardless of what
Smart.
regardless of what cut of steak you have, there's a few universals. One, get them from the grocery store, get them out of the pack, pat them dry with paper towels, salt and pepper, garlic salt, put them in the fridge. Let them sit. You don't need to cover them for a few hours. You can keep them in there a whole day if you want, but at least a few hours. That helps draw the moisture out, which seems counterintuitive, but you want to get that moisture to the surface and out of the steak because you want that for a better sear.
You want a crust, a healthy crust.
Yeah.
And when that pan is ripping hot, you're going to be able to have that hard sear because you've dried them out, so to speak. Can I just interrupt you really quickly, even though I just already did? What about sometimes we do a mustard and you just said salt, pepper, and garlic salt. I don't even do the garlic salt. Sometimes we'll just do salt, pepper. But sometimes we do, in fact, do a mustard, which tastes really nice and adds a little bit to that crunch, sear, hard casing.
If you're gonna do it on the grill, I would put a light coat of mustard on it and then salt and pepper.
Just try it. Even if you're like, I don't like mustard, grow up and try it. Okay.
Yeah, it's a nice little binder. So most people that do, I learned this from barbecue. Most people when they do briskets, they'll do a light layer of mustard to help the salt and pepper bind. I would say that's better if you're going to cook it on a fire. So save that for the grill. If you're not going to do it for the grill, I don't think you need it for the pan. Okay. So you want to get them nice and dry because it doesn't matter how hot your pan is. If you've got a ton of moisture, you're not going to get a sear. You're going to get that gray look on your steak that looks nasty. So you got to get rid of that moisture. Sometimes it helps to pat them again right before you cook them. So get them nice and dry. If you're going to go filet mignon, New York strip, anything leaner and tender, it's good on the pan, cast iron pan. If I had to give you any tip, it is buy a camp stove on Amazon. They're like $80. Do it outside because smoke is an issue. So you're going to get, once you get that pan as hot as you can, it's going to start smoking. If you do it indoors and you don't have an extremely good like hood ventilating it all out, your house is going to fill with smoke. So much so that I've disabled the smoke alarm on that level.
Yeah, it's really not great. If you guys want the link of the exact one that we use, just DM me. I'll send it to you. It's so legit.
You can resolve this all with the smoke by buying one of these. They hook up to a propane tank. Then you can get it as hot. They also burn hotter than your stoves.
Yeah. Now, what about people living in apartment complexes?
I guess you got to do it inside then because I don't know if you can put those if you have like a deck outside.
Yeah.
So I guess you have to do it inside, but you're going to get smoke. It's just, there's no way to avoid it. So that thing should be pouring off smoke, get it really hot.
Mm-hmm.
Now it depends on the thickness here, right? But I like a thicker steak because if you want to go for a medium rare, which is what I prefer, if your steak is too thin and you hard sear it, you're going to cook it too fast.
Right.
So you want like a good
inch and a half,
at least inch, but ideally like inch and a half. And so, yeah, get it on that pan. And then what I would say is let it sit. If you have a thinner steak, make sure you get one of those presses because
listen, I think again, interrupting you, the press is good for even the thickest steaks.
Yeah, it won't hurt the thicker
You
steaks.
you need to get like a hefty one though. You need to get a solid cast iron press. Again, I can DM you the link of the one that we use. This is not like
You get them in
sponsored or
HEB for
anything.
like $10.
Right. But just make sure that it's fucking hefty, like cast iron, heavy press, that when you put it on top of your steak, it's actually giving substantial weight to increase the sear.
Yeah. The reason for that is because you want contact with the steak needs to make contact with the pan, yeah, as much as possible. So if you don't have it, sometimes a thinner steak, especially, you'll notice it curls up on the edges, and then all of that curl, it makes pooled moisture, which is your enemy for searing, but it also means those pieces don't get seared.
Yeah. And you want to cover every inch of surface area on that steak.
Yeah. There's debate about how often you should flip it. I think honestly both work. You can flip it as much as you want. I don't think it makes a difference. I like to flip it every minute or so. And I like to move it around the pan. So if you have a little bigger cast iron pan, it's nice because you'll get heat in different spots. So you want to move it around. Keep flipping till you have it done, and then lower the heat down to like medium low. Let it cool a little bit. And then you're going to throw butter, thyme, garlic in there. I think that's all you need. And you just baste it for a couple minutes with a spoon. Throw the butter on the steak, and that's how you finish the steak. I think that is a really good New York strip or filet mignon.
Mm-hmm. And then let's go through the whole process. Okay, you want really, really good flaky sea salt at the end. You want to let it rest before you cut into it on the cutting board.
Yeah, let it rest. So once you're done, put it on the cutting board. If you still need to get, if you feel like you're not at temp now yet, when you finish cooking, wrap it in aluminum foil. Just let it sit. I'd say for at least 10 minutes. If the foil will help retain the heat, so it'll keep cooking in there. So I think pull it off about, before you're about 5 degrees away from your target temp. So if you're targeting 135, once it's at 130, wrap it, let it sit. In 10 minutes, it'll probably get to that 135.
Get a really good meat thermometer so that you're not guessing. You have to have a meat thermometer. We should create like a link of everything and just sell like steak kits, bro.
Yeah.
Like full Nelson.
That's our first product line. Steak kits.
And it's got like the favorite, like the best pan that we like, the best press, meat thermometer, the butter basting spoon, like everything. Yeah. Cutting board, flaky sea salt. We'll set you guys up. Okay. We will not let you fail.
If you don't wait long enough, if you rush this step and you don't rest it, when you cut into it, it's going to pour out liquid everywhere. And that's how you know you rushed it. So let it rest. Don't rush this part.
Yeah.
Then there's small detail here. I think it's important. The downside of letting it rest is it does cool down, right? So once you unwrap it, you're on the clock.
You got to go.
So you got to get that thing cut. And I like to lay each piece out so it looks nice. Plating and appearance is very important in my mind. Hit it with your flaky finishing sea salt, and then serve it. The small detail that I think is important is for a pan-seared steak, I like to heat the plates.
Yes.
Because the plate being warm helps retain some of that heat, because it will cool off very quickly, and cold steak, not that good.
Right.
So you can, as long as your plates are oven safe, you can throw them in the oven.
Or if they're not, tell them about the microwave trick.
You can put water on the plate and throw it in the microwave. It'll do the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
just a couple drops of water. You don't need to submerge your plate in water. You guys, if we've ever hosted you at our house for a steak night, consider yourself lucky, because we hook it up. Hook it up. Sometimes we'll host and we'll do like steak frites.
Yeah.
But regardless, when you are on the clock. As soon as that comes out of the aluminum foil from resting, you got to go. Yeah. You don't want to serve your guests cold meat.
Yes.
They'll leave.
Yeah.
And they should. I would leave. Bye. We're no longer friends. All right. Let's take them through are we spending too much time on steak? We could take them through
this one
quick ribeye. It's quicker.
So anything that is very fatty, I think is better over a fire. So ribeyes, which is personally my favorite cut. I like to get a nice thick ribeye. And so same process to start. You can throw a little mustard on there. Charcoal, undefeated. Way better than gas. Get a charcoal, get a Weber kettle. They're pretty cheap. They're not crazy expensive. Get lump charcoal and get a chimney. and you're gonna basically throw your lump charcoal in the chimney, get it nice and hot. It'll take like 15 to 20 minutes. That this process is not fast. So you need to you need to have the time to get those big lump charcoal pieces really, really hot. You basically want them to be cold. So what you're looking for in the chimney is once it's not black anymore and it's actually has like grayish kind of appearance because it's burned. So it's those are very, very hot coals. Dump them in, put your grate on there, and then just throw the ribeye on there and let the fire do its thing. Very, very easy. They cook now. Those coals get extremely hot. So the one difference is you need to think about for temperature is that the intensity is so much that you need to pull them faster than when you do in the pan. So if you're aiming for 135, I will pull around 120, 125. So like 10 degrees less than where you want to end up because that thing is so hot, it's going to keep cooking at a faster rate than the pan. And so
And as your meat temperature gets higher, it cooks faster as well.
Yeah.
You're going to make a jump quicker at 120 to 130 than you are from 0 to 10.
Yeah. Yeah. Because the curve, it goes like this. So you need to pull it a little bit earlier. And then same thing, I'll wrap it, let them rest. Exact same process. I cut the ribeye slightly differently, but that's less important. That's it. I think that is the best way, especially in the summer.
Bingo.
That gives you that nice charcoal, just like fiery, smoky taste. And I think it's best served with chimichurri, personally. And you make some good chimichurri.
I do. Thank you.
There we go. That's it. That's all I have.
You guys. If you have any other questions, just DM me.
From now on,
or
if
Tim.
People ask that, we're just going to send them this and say, watch this.
Watch this. No, we should make a video though, like a whole thing.
Yeah. And by the way, I have messed up probably 100 steaks. Like it's a lot of trial and error.
Yeah. And it's a part of the process. So don't be like, I'm a total failure. You know, if I didn't like get this one thing right, you got to keep trying. And like maybe one method isn't your best method. Maybe just try another one. Like maybe the one that we're talking about isn't necessarily for you and you find an easier one and that's okay too. But just don't give up. If you're like, I want to master this. I was talking to a friend of mine and she's like, one of my goals for the end of the year is I want to learn how to cook a really good steak, like very well, not well done, well executed. And I said, okay, I love this for you. What questions do you have? Like, just keep trying, you know?
To be honest, steak is easy to cook. Once you will mess a few up for sure. I've messed up a lot, but it is easier than a lot of other things I've cooked. Like brisket, it's way easier than brisket.
Yeah.
It's way easier than anything smoking anything. Smoking anything is harder. Where I honestly feel like I've come to terms with I'm not that good of a chef. Sauces are extremely they're extremely they're humiliating. They're humbling is the word I was looking for. Because I have tried and tried to do a red wine reduction for those pan seared because like, man, that's so good when it's done right. I suck. So maybe if anyone out there has tips, I have tried and like doing a sauce, that's where you actually figure out who's a good chef and who's not.
Yeah, I think
because there's like no room for error. Like you have to be right on. Your timing has to be perfect.
Yeah.
And yeah, like every time I serve them, they break. Or they don't set up to the consistency I want. Like they're too thin.
Keep trying.
Yeah.
And then also one more thing before we switch topics to something else. I don't know what that topic will be, but one more thing on the steak front is once you get really good at that execution, then what's fun is that you can get into figuring out what your flavor profile is. Like, you can get into the dry aged. Like, do you like a 30-day dry aged? Do you like a 45-day dry aged? I like, my sweet spot is the 30-day dry age. 45 is too much funk for me. You like the 45.
I like the funk.
I am like, okay, I like it, but it's not my favorite. I'll eat it. Okay. Which do you like? Like, what finish do you like on your steak? Meaning, what is the cow consuming? You can get really granular with this, right? And there's a ton, if you're listening to this in the state of Texas, consider yourself lucky because there are a ton of local cattle farms here that you can go and you can buy them. You can buy them locally. You can go to the farm. You can have them shipped out. And then you can do a little taste test, right? You can say, like, I actually like this grass finished one, served like this, aged for this many days. And it's just a really fun thing because you can just continue to explore that palette on your own. And then, we have different palettes, we have different things that we prefer. But that's really fun. Once you nail that execution, then you're like, okay, let's get into the nitty gritty here.
Also, don't overcomplicate it. Like it is really, it is a lot about the piece of the steak you're working with. Like it's hard to outcook bad cut. So if you've got like a ton of gristle in there, like it's hard to overcompensate for that. So I think sometimes people try to overcomplicate it, and it's like it is pretty simple. It's like just salt, fire, some fat, and like that's 90% of it, in my opinion.
Yep, get her done.
Okay. Meat. Where were we before meat? Oh, we were talking about. Okay, so we're coming up on our anniversary.
Yes.
And the reason I'm bringing that up is because I think we're gonna go get steaks tonight. I don't know. Are we? Now that we've talked about it, I definitely want to.
We should. I mean, yeah, I'm in my comfies now, and like I got like 3-day hair, so I got to shower and do the whole thing. But like, yeah, we should.
I can also just make steaks at home if you want, but I thought we were gonna go out, so
we'll figure it out. I'm down, but there are limitations.
What are the limitations?
Well, like I don't feel like really like. We'll talk about it off air. I don't want to say it right now. We'll talk about it off air.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, we're coming up on 13 years.
Yeah.
On Monday, right?
Yeah, 13 years married. Well, technically.
Yeah, technically
we're at like 15,
more. We've talked about that.
Whatever.
But yeah.
The date that we think of as our wedding anniversary is 13 years.
Is on Monday.
Yeah. And this episode is probably going to come out on Monday, so happy anniversary.
Yeah, happy anniversary. How do you feel 13 years in? How much more do you hate me now?
I loathe you entirely. Just kidding. I love you.
Tell me about it. Go ahead.
I don't feel... I don't know. It's like when somebody asks you, like, how do you feel now that you're a year older? It's like, I feel the same. Like, what do you mean?
You don't have any new reflections or
over the past year?
Lessons learned, or just no, of all the 13 years, like what
put me on the spot.
What is it that, I don't know. Do you feel differently about it now, or do you feel like you've changed in 13 years?
Yeah.
So yeah, what is it?
There's so many things, Tim. Like I would just like, oh my God. I talk about this all the time on my Instagram too, about like how to find the right partner that you want to grow with. And you have to prioritize like picking peace, and you want somebody that you can grow with, because you're going to be a million different people in 13 years. You're going to be a million different versions of yourself, and me too. And so like, how do you both grow as individuals, but like stay together at the same time? I talk about this all the time. So now, and I've had no time to reflect on this, but I would say like the same sentiment is true. Is like, I feel like I picked a really good partner, and that's the whole point. Is like, you don't want to just say, I want to be married to 13 years. I want to get to 13 years with somebody just to say that like I did it. But I can't. I'm sorry, my ADD right now. I don't know what is going on. Do you have nail polish on that one finger?
No, I have.
What the fuck is that?
No,
it's been like catching the light in here, and I'm like, what is going on?
No, I don't wear nail polish. I don't think I've ever worn nail polish.
What is it?
It is the liquid Band-Aid stuff.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm like, it's so shiny. It looks like you have a really nice manicure.
No. Sometimes I put it on before I go to train because I don't want to get an infection.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry.
Should I hide my thumbs?
No. Put them on display. Show the people.
Yeah, it's just the liquid bandage stuff. So like sometimes
it's like, wow,
I get
so pretty, so shiny.
Minor little cuts, and I don't want the bacteria getting in them and getting infected. And Band-Aids don't work very well.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Anyways, my point is that I feel like I picked a good partner, and yeah, what I was saying was like you don't get to 13 years and say like, I picked. I don't know how to word this. It's like when you embark on a marriage, you don't know if you're going to get to 13 years. You don't know if you're going to get to 13 months, 13 days, even in some cases. So I think that when you go into it and think like, I want to pick somebody with longevity, well, how do you know that? You don't. You have to go off of their morals and their values and their characteristics instead of saying like, I just want like somebody to wake up to every morning. No, it's like you want somebody to go through life with every single day. That's not just a badge of honor of getting to 13 years. This person is going to see you at your lowest. This person is going to see you at your worst and also your best and be steadfast throughout those things in life. So I feel very lucky. I feel very lucky to have picked somebody that like knows the darkest parts of me, but still loves me for who I am and is also somebody that is encouraging at the same time. Like it's not, I don't know. I feel like I need to be independent, right? Like I need to have that independence. That's always been like a part of who I am. I value my independence very high. And so if I had somebody saying like, no, you can't, do this business venture or you just have to like stay at home and you have to do this and like serve me. And that's like your entire purpose. That wouldn't be good for me. That would be a no-go, a non-starter. And so you have to ask yourself like what your values are in life and then find somebody who nurtures those things and says like I'm going to bring out the best parts of you. I don't know, long-winded.
How do
13 years is wild though.
how do you know? Like, how did you know? Because you're kind of talking about, well, you're picking
Mhm.
someone
Yeah.
and you don't really know them at that point. Like, you know them 13 years later.
Mhm.
So in some way, you don't know what you're signing up for.
You don't. It's a
I mean,
gamble,
you
but I
kind of
think
do, but you don't know it at the depth you will know it if you make it.
I think your intuition knows. I think like there's something inside of you that's like if you can tap into that, I think your body knows. Does your body feel at peace when you're with this person or is your body in a constant state of chaos and stress because it's just something like do you feel safe with the person? Like I feel like if you just tap into your body and like your nervous system can relax and be at ease with this person, then like that's probably a good choice for you.
Hmm.
But also not to get that confused with boredom because a lot of people really seek chaos and drama. And then when they find somebody that's stable and not those things, then they're like, oh, they panic and they're like, this is not it. Like, this person's too boring. I need more action in my life when it's really just maybe are you addicted to chaos? Are you addicted to drama because that's all you've had before? Um the
You have
guy,
called me boring in the past.
yeah, I have. I'm honest if
Increase,
anything.
yeah, no, I mean, I guess not as much recently.
When we were in our early 20s, yeah, because everybody was like partying and like doing things and like you would be like, okay, sure, every once in a while, but you're like, that's just not my jam. And we've gone to clubs and did the 20s thing, but it wasn't like we didn't eat, sleep, and breathe that,
Yeah,
you know. And at the beginning, I thought that that was boring
yeah,
because I was 20.
yep.
Like I was just this. I wanted to party. And also like I was just in the stage of my life where like all of the people that I had ever looked up to in my life, that's all they did was they went to clubs and they danced and they had high heels on and they dressed sexy and they got their hair and their makeup done and whatever and I thought that that was the thing to do. And it was to some extent, but like when you're married, it's a little different.
Yeah.
For me at least. I don't know.
And I cut you off. What were you saying before that?
I don't know.
Um, I,
What's your take on 13 years?
geez.
It's such a loaded question.
I, I think you have to go to it with the mindset that it's not failure is not an option. And I was like that way from the beginning. I was like, I don't want to even date you if I don't think that we're going to be serious about this. And I think this is longevity.
That's true, you guys. He did say that.
And so I think you can't look at it as a bet. You know, a lot of things in life you don't know, and the way you cope with that is you think, all right, well, I'm going to make a bet here, right? And then I'll hedge my bet in case it fails. I think if you are hedging your bet going into a marriage, that's probably not great.
That's smart.
I do think you have to internalize the idea that like you're signing up for a life partner. And by the way, this isn't controversial. You literally say this when you get married.
Mhm,
It's in the vows.
mhm.
And so many people say those words, but then they'll tell you like, yeah, well, if it doesn't work out, it's like,
So then you didn't actually mean it. You have to say what you mean.
right. So
Burn the ships.
yeah, burn the ships. Exactly.
Don't have a plan B.
In
Like,
front
sign
of
up.
God, country, and family, you said those words and you didn't mean them. I don't know. Maybe I'm old fashioned, but I take it seriously. You say those words for a reason because you are signing up for um, much more than just a like lover. You're signing up for with someone to do life with, and that means you're signing up for a lot of hard times,
Mhm.
a lot of tragedy, a lot of pain, a lot of things you don't see coming, um, and a lot of trouble, frankly. And I think if you go into that with just the idea that there's an escape, there's always a plan B or there's an escape route. I just think you're starting off on the wrong foot. And so the mindset going in, at least for me, was if I'm doing this, I'm doing it with the intent to just it's 100%. I'm going in and just signing up for life. You at least I believe you have to go into it with that mentality. And if you're not ready to say that, maybe that's a sign that you need to take it a little slower or just wait it out and see. If you do come around and feel that way, and maybe that's hard. It wasn't hard for me. I don't know why. I don't know if that was a you thing. Like you, I just found you so reassuring that I could, but I never found that hard. Like I always found if I really commit to something, that in my brain I'm like, yep, we're doing this. So from the beginning, and then I think I don't know if I had to sum it up, incredible amounts of selflessness and putting yourself. I think you actually have to buck most of the modern day relationship advice because I think most of the modern day relationship advice is centered on yourself and it's about how you feel and it's about how your boundaries and your what you tolerate. I think all of that is poisonous or toxic to actually a productive relationship, even with friends. I really believe the more you focus on yourself, the more you're setting yourself up for failure because it turns out that any good relationship that makes it across time requires a tremendous amount of selflessness and thinking about the other person first. So for me, it's putting the family before myself and um, having my actions reflect that by doing things that build us up collectively and not just myself. Now, there are win wins. Sometimes you can do both. So it's not like a pure sacrifice where it's like you always lose.
But to a
Um,
certain extent, though, I mean, if your cup is not getting full in one category or some aspect of your marriage, and it keeps getting overlooked and overlooked and overlooked, then you can't just say, "I'm going to continue to be selfless," because you have needs as well.
yeah, give me an example. Like,
Like, if
has that happened with us? I think it has.
I think there's seasons, yeah. But then, like, you can't just you have to advocate for yourself a little bit. You can't just give advice to people then say like, be selfless because if something is really important to you and it keeps getting overlooked and overlooked and overlooked, then that's going to turn into resentment and you don't want that either. But I think generally I would agree with your advice. Like, focus on yourself in your business and how you build yourself as a person. But when it comes to relationships, like, it's not all about you.
Yeah.
It's not all about you.
Take ownership of your part as a start as a thought exercise. It's always good to what I do is in I don't know I'm not always good at this, right? But you know, at my best, when you'll bring something up where it's like, uh, you're not meeting my needs here, or you're not meeting my expectations in this area. The worst version of me will immediately counter that, just like, oh yeah, well you didn't do this, or it's like then it becomes a fight.
Mhm.
And sure, we still do that, right? We're not perfect. But when I'm at my best, I will take what you're saying and I'll have the moment where I'm like, I want, like, instinctually, you want to defend yourself. But at my best, I then will try to just take a moment, pause, and then think about, okay, what could I be doing better here? And then I try to verbalize that. And then it at least opens the conversation because the person is starting from a place of humility rather than defensiveness.
Yeah.
And and so you're right. It's obviously not limitless, you know. It is a two-player game and you have to each hold your part of it. If it's just one person always taking ownership of everything, then yes, obviously that will set that's not going to be good. So
Mhm.
both people have to be on board with the idea that when the other person expresses a um, something that's a challenge or something where you're falling short, putting yourself in the mindset of, okay, how do I assess myself first? And at least verbalize, you know what? I hear you. I understand what you're saying. You know, here's what I think I could be doing better. Or what am I doing that's making you feel this way? Or what could I be doing differently? That opens the conversation. And then you actually can have that conversation of like, all right, maybe there are things, like I said, it's a two-player game. So it's not ever just one person. But I think just having that as your go-to and as much as possible practicing that, it does get easier. It definitely gets easier with time.
Yeah.
I was not good at this at the beginning. No one is. But the more you do it, the more you realize like, yeah, what's stopping you from doing that? It's usually your ego. It's ego that stops you from in any relationship, like it's friends or family, when someone expresses that they're not, you know, happy with something you did or said or something you're not doing, the ego response is to get defensive. I think if you could just put it in its place and just hold it there for a minute and just self-assess, um, and verbalize that, which is important.
Mhm.
I think that is a huge part of it.
Yeah. Hard, but tough. I did it this past week.
Which
Whenever I was asking you for grace, essentially.
hmm,
I mean, my ego doesn't like that.
it's hard, man.
'Cause
You
I like, in
gotta.
my mind, I'm like, I've had, like, a really rough past 2 weeks, and, like, why can't Tim just see that, like, I'm having trouble with this, this, and this, and why can't he just and, like, it's just offensive, right? And why right? And it's like, "Okay, shut up." And then just go up to Tim and say what did I say? I said, like, um, "I just need you to give me a little bit of grace because I know that I'm not showing up as the best version of myself, and I know I'm not showing up as the wife that you deserve. But I will come out of this. I just right now, I'm still, like, in the middle of it, and I'm just asking you for your grace," or something along the lines of that.
Which is
And
very powerful and it is very good, I think. Not enough
mhm.
people do that.
And this was, like, yesterday, y'all. So, like, I'm still in the shit, okay? I'm, like, just, you know, not having a great couple weeks, but I think that, like, when it comes to your marriage, if you let all of that, like, go to the wayside, then you're just essentially just, like, giving up.
Yeah.
And when you don't have hope anymore, then that, like, that's, like, a scary place to be in your marriage, and I don't ever wanna be there. So I always just wanna be honest with, like, "Hey, this is really shitty and, like, really sucks, but, like, I'm not gonna be here forever. Like, I'm working on it, you know? I just need you to have a little bit more patience with me right now or a little bit more grace."
Mhm.
And that's it, and it's just a simple thing.
Yeah. And, so that's a great example, and you did that, and, you know, I said, "I understand, and I'm here for you." But what was interesting about that is when you said it, maybe I didn't verbalize this, and I should have. In my head, I immediately went to, okay, well, what could I be doing better in this moment? How do I help her? And so because it's easy for me to then just be like, yeah, you know what, you really have been an asshole.
Yeah.
Like it's very easy to just be like, yeah, thank you. Like
Yeah.
you've been a jerk and you've not been nice and you're frustrating me and like that's easy.
Yeah.
But the hard thing then is to turn inward and just recognize, okay, my partner is expressing something. My partner is taking ownership of their part. Now, how do I meet them and do the same?
Yeah.
And, you know, I thought that I didn't verbalize it. I should have. because the I think the best way to respond is thank you, I appreciate it, I'm here for you, I'm giving you grace, and I also recognize you're struggling. Here's what I think I could be doing better to help you through this time. And if there's anything I'm not saying, like feel free to let me know right now.
Mhm.
It's just a much more productive and like um it's a de-escalating conversation, not an escalating.
Yeah, and this visual that just came to my mind is like two people that are on these pedestals and they're equal. And then when one person's like really low, and then also they're asking for forgiveness. So then they feel even lower. And you have to put your ego aside. This is you and this is me. Then I feel even lower. And I'm like coming to you asking for forgiveness. You are up on this pedestal to where I am. You can look down at me and say, like, yeah, you have been a bitch and like, whatever. Or which will raise you because then you're like, yes, I'm right and you're wrong. And like, don't forget it kind of vibes. Or you can do what you did, which is like extending a hand out and saying, how can I help you? And that brings me up here because I get to take your hand and then you say, like, we're in this together.
Yeah.
And that's
It's a
really
good analogy.
powerful.
Yeah.
Just came into my head.
Yeah, like you're only ever as good as your worst. Like your marriage is only ever as healthy as the person who is at their lowest at that moment. It's like in the military when you're running, you used to say like you're only ever as fast as your slowest person,
Yeah.
or you're only ever as good as your worst person. So it's the same concept. It's like you got to bring them up, and trying to dominate or outpace them is not, that's not a productive, healthy unit mentality. It's an individual mentality.
Yeah.
And so again, I'm back to this, like you got to put the unit first, and the unit is only ever as good as whatever that person is who is at their lowest at that moment. That's where you're at. And so it's actually your responsibility. If you're not in that moment, you will be, by the way.
Yeah.
This flips, it's dynamic. And in that moment, if you're the person who is up top in your analogy, you gotta come meet them where they are. You can't try to just go, because I think then that's not, it's not going to work. You're not going to build um a strong unit that
Yeah.
way.
It won't last long, you know? And it's hard. It's hard when like, I mean, people in marriages are like, you know, we don't ever compromise. Well, it's like, okay, when are you getting divorced? Like it can't always be one person's way.
It's a lot of compromise for
It's
sure.
so much compromise and like compromise sucks.
It does.
Like, can we be honest about that? It
Sure.
fucking
Yeah. It
sucks.
does. Yeah.
Like I want it my way and you want it your way.
Yeah.
And we're so, especially in this culture and country, we're so like, you can do whatever you want and be, and you should get the final say. And like, oh God, but when you're in a marriage, especially as parents, and when things come up and you're just like, oh, fuck, I don't want to do it like that. And you don't want to do it like that. And I don't want to do it your way. And it's like, okay, well, we're going to have to sit down and figure this out before it like lingers and figure out like how we attack this. Otherwise, it's not good for the unit. It's not good for the family unit, you know?
Yeah. And this is what I mean when I say I think you do have to tune out some modern advice, because there's a lot of advice out there that literally says do not compromise. Like either they explicitly say that, or that's the undertone, right? Is like it's all about how you feel, and are your needs being met, and where are your boundaries, establishing them, holding them. I think all those ideas are very destructive or not conducive, let's say, to a relationship, because when you approach a relationship, any relationship, with a boundaries first mindset, what I hear is you're saying these are the rules of how you will engage with me, which means you are creating a boundary around how vulnerable you're willing to be, how open you're willing to be. And I don't think you can have a great relationship with someone if you're not willing to feel those negative things
Mhm.
sometimes. So if your first kind of order of business is these are my boundaries, don't cross them, then it's like, all right, well now you've basically closed yourself off.
There's a wall now.
There's a wall essentially, and now you've dictated the terms upon which we can. You've limited the field, so you're not allowed to feel anything bad. You're not allowed to feel anything vulnerable. You're not allowed to feel anything that might make you temporarily upset or hurt your ego. And I don't know how you have a successful relationship over time if that's how you're approaching.
Yeah.
Be-
You gotta go into every emotion 100% and say like, I'm gonna feel this 100%, and I'm gonna be 100% honest with you, even if it hurts your feelings. Yeah.
and not being afraid to be like, it's not all happy. It's not all positive.
Yeah.
A lot of life is is like negative emotion, and I think we try really hard in the modern day to avoid that. It's like we've like lost the skill of just being in that those emotions and those discussions without and you feel this way. You like if you talk about actually this happened the other night. Can I bring this up?
What? It depends on what you're about to say.
We can always cut it. Your mom was here and we were talking about like we were just all hanging out after Augie went to bed and having a drink, and I think we were talking about just like time passing and people
Yeah.
getting older and
Yeah. Yeah.
death and you at one point you were like, all right, Tim, way to really bring down the mood. Like you were not having it.
Yeah.
Um but I just think sometimes like it's okay to talk about that stuff, and it's not easy. It's not fun, but it's real. That's
Mhm.
life.
Mhm.
And it happens in your relationship too. And if you're like closed off and you're like, we can't go there. I don't know how you can't you can't experience the full range of what it means to be. Like you're saying like we can only talk about the fun things.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And like there is no happy ending to these conversations all the time. It's just
Right?
like sometimes that's that okay.
Yeah.
Don't get obsessed with it.
Right.
And don't but like
But time and place too, you know?
yeah, sometimes we
Like
just
if I'm sitting here and I'm like, "Oh, I can't talk about it. I can't talk about it." That's like me being dramatic, but like I can't when you should talk about it. Because to your point is if you only ever seek out the positive happy moments in your life and in your marriage and in your relationship, then like there's no that's not real life, it's not substantial. There's going to be hard times, it's going to be shit, but wouldn't you rather do those hard times with somebody else that you completely trust 100% and know that they have your back no matter what because you literally said it in your fucking vows and you know that they meant what they said when they said it and it's not just fluff and words and there's no backup plan? I do. That's what I want. And then when I do those hard times with that person and then like come out of the suck and you're just like, "Oh god, I'm glad that's over." Then like the good parts of life are sweeter. It's
mm,
even better because you've been to the low together. And now you're just like, "God, life is so good now." And it's just basic everyday shit, but you're like, "This is really good." And it's just better when you find that person.
that reminds me of this quote. I think it's Carl Jung. He said, I'm gonna butcher it, but he
Okay.
said like the the tree that leads to heaven has roots that go to hell.
Okay.
And it's
That's
the same idea. Like you can't actually go high without the low. And there's like an old idea that we aren't very comfortable with anymore in the modern day, which is like actually the way to get to the light is to go low and to really go there and just be there, because actually that's where you will ultimately find the light. Again, I butchered that quote, but that's the idea.
mhm.
That's the idea.
I get what you're
And
saying.
there's no conclusion. Like that's the conclusion is okay, we're just going to do it together. Sometimes that's the best answer.
Yeah.
I think people seek that like happy ending because we want that.
Yeah.
But a lot of times that there you don't have it or you don't know what it's going to be. So the conclusion is, yep, but we're going to at least
We'll
grind through it
figure it
together.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems like a good place to close. Yeah.
13 years.
Yeah. Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
We'll see y'all next week.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.